Hello and welcome to How to Invest. In today's video, we're going to be covering Shift4 Q4 2025 earnings calls. We're going to talk about the amazing quarter they had and perhaps my only concern that I'm going to be keeping an eye on as I continue to watch Shift4. A little bit about me. I am a stock analyst for a holding company with over 10 million of assets under management, as well as my own personal $150,000 portfolio. Just so you guys know, we are not certified financial advisors. This video is not financial advice. All investments carry risk. You are solely responsible for your investments. We encourage everyone to do their own due diligence and research. We have a high risk tolerance and a long investment horizon. This video reflects our opinions only at the time of recording and are for educational and entertainment purposes only. Going over the shareholders letter, this is just some of the highlights. Volume on their platform grew 23% year over year, gross profit growing 58% year over year, showing some really good operational leverage. And that will be one of the first things we talk about after the shareholder leverage letter, just looking at their operational leverage again, as I'm a little scarred after owning Oddity Tech. And then the reason it sold off a little bit was because they missed on the GAAP diluted EPS. They did actually match expectations on the non-GAAP EPS. And I think there's a little bit of a miss on the adjusted EBITDA guidance. Not exactly sure, again, Wall Street will do what it does in the short term, but my long-term thesis for this company based on their 2025 Investor Day guidance is still super, super strong and very much so intact. But yeah, still, again, another excellent quarter. A lot of this really high, because their guidance was 30% year over year, our compounding growth rate through 2028, sorry, excuse me, and exiting 2027 with $1 billion of free cash flow. So I think those are both still very much intact. And this year was meaningfully higher than the guidance because they acquired Global Blue that continued to expand their geographies, their verticals. So this business continues to get more and more diversified, which is really, really good. All diversified within the same core competency, right? You don't want them to go start buying random other businesses that has nothing to do with their core competency, but they continue to expand in different verticals that are all within their industrial competency. So really good across geographies. We love to see that diversification. It makes for a much more stable business. So yeah, excellent quarter. Good to see it. I don't really have anything else to point out from the shareholder letter, but I do want to point out a few things here. One thing I will be watching is their SG&A as well. Their SG&A has been compounding slightly faster than their revenue has been compounding, but their gross profit, so they're getting operational leverage here on their cost of goods, and they're getting, operational leverage on their operating profit, even though the SG&A has been compounding. So I'm guessing, I'm not exactly sure what is happening there, but I'm going to be continue to explore that and watch that over time. And then the free cash flow has also been compounding faster than their total revenue. So they are experiencing meaningful operational leverage. The SG&A growing faster is still a little bit of concern, but it's not my main concern. The main thing that I am watching for Shift4 is their balance sheet, and that is because it is currently negative. They have negative shareholder equity currently. If you back out goodwill, which I do encourage you to look at it, or at least consider backing out goodwill. Goodwill is basically the excess that you pay for a company above their the value of their assets. It is put on your balance sheet as an asset, and the only thing that it can do is reduce your taxes if that goodwill kind of basically decreases. The idea of goodwill is that you have goodwill with customers, goodwill with clients, that you get the relationships from the business that you bought. But I would rather not consider that as a balance sheet item, because if those relationships really do matter, they'll turn into revenue on the income statement. So I'd rather just you can't use goodwill to pay your expenses, which is what I really think of as an asset, something that you can use to pay your liabilities. You cannot turn goodwill into cash or something else that you can actually use to meaningfully pay down liabilities and reduce your risk as a company. So I did remove that from their assets. And when you do that, they do currently have more liabilities than assets, and they do have more current liabilities than cash and cash equivalents by about 300 million, but they do have meaningful free cash flow of about $400 million in free cash flow. And then the other thing that is making me continue to not worry about it too much, but continue to watch how they continue to operate, is this is their 20 this is from their 2025 investor day, and this is their kind of showing them their proven track record of deleveraging. So you can see the kind of historical, net leverage rate that they had. So the highest they ever got was back in Q3 2022 with a 4.6x net leverage. And currently it's sitting at a 3.3x leverage, which has come down. Or well, that was the estimate. So they estimated that it would be 3.3, and the actual net leverage was 3.4. So pretty much in line. And more importantly, their 3.4 times is below their leverage guidance. This is from the CFO. He said leverage guidance remains unchanged with a view that the business should not exceed 3.75 net leverage on a sustained basis. So they're still within their guidance range, which I like to see. They have gone above it, obviously, that one time back here, 3.75 in Q3 2022, but they've continued to stay underneath that. So I have trust in management. So if that's the kind of guidance or their own rules that they've set for themselves, as long as they're keeping within those rules, and I can see that they have a healthy free cash flow and they have a decent amount of current assets compared to their liabilities, I'm pretty happy with it. I see that they're continuing to grow well, so I still have trust in management. But those are two things that I will definitely be keeping my eyes on: is the balance sheet, those current liabilities to current assets, and the kind of net leverage rate at them can actually staying below their kind of rule-based net guidance range. So let's end with looking at just the kind of base case modeling. Oh, we'll look at the bear case too, right? What's the worst case scenario? So based on their 2025 investor day, they said the worst case scenario was basically high teens compounding growth rate for, this is based on their gross revenue less network fees. So that would be like 18% for the next 3 years through 2028, and then a little bit of deceleration through 2030. And then a 7% net margin. Their current net margin's around 3.54%, so a little bit of improvement there. A company like this should get somewhere between 15 to 20, maybe 25% net margin in the best case, long-term net margin. So in the short term, next 5 years, they could definitely meaningfully improve that net margin. And then a PE expectation of 33. And then in the base case, this is the kind of what they said was the most likely scenario, which is 30% plus compounding growth rate, where they continue their M&A strategy, they continue their organic growth. So that is the assumptions I have here in the base case, is that most likely scenario they talked about in their investor day of 30% plus compounded growth rate for their gross revenue less network fees. So I have it slightly higher than that the first 2 years. Again, this is not going to be linear, right? Because maybe 1 year will have a big M&A like they did this last year, like with Global Blue, and the revenue growth will be 51%, and then the next year will be 20% because they don't do any huge M&A, and then again the year after they don't do another big M&A, and then maybe you'll have 40%. So again, it won't be exactly linear like this, but this is just supposed to represent kind of an average. But after 2028, a bit of revenue deceleration down to 26% revenue growth, and then a net margin of 10%. So maybe a little high, but I think it is also realistic and doable from their current 4% net margin. But 5 years is a long time. There's lots of time to improve. Palantir improved from like a 6 or 9% net margin to 36% net margin in 1 year. So that's obviously a very AI tailwind business. So for a payments processor like Shift4, maybe it's not as realistic, but there definitely can be meaningful net margin improvement in a time frame like this. And then a PE ratio of 39. That's the assumption in the base case 5 year. So what does that look like in the 5 year bear case? So worst case scenario, what does that mean for 4? It means a 2.6x, which is in line with the 20% compounding growth rate. So that would still be a really healthy return, better, far better than, the market average of 10%, of huge outperformance, even in the kind of worst case scenario. And then in kind of the base case, you get this really, really strong 7x. So I am super happy to be a shareholder of Shift4. They're continuing to execute on their 2025 guidance from their investor day. So nothing really changed in the thesis for me from that. But yeah, I'll definitely keep my eye on that SG&A growing faster than their revenue, and then, that kind of net leverage rate and the balance sheet. Those are my only areas of concern that I'm currently watching. But yeah, the miss on GAAP EPS really doesn't matter to me. I'm such a long-term investor that, those type of things I'm happy to hold through. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you were entertained. I hope you were educated. If you have any thoughts, make sure to leave them in the comments below. We'll be happy to respond to them. And make sure to subscribe if you want more videos like this in the future. And have a wonderful, wonderful day.